Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and, well, a puzzle called Clowns and Jokers today. Now, if I was Simon, I'd be playing a musical intro based on Stuck in the Middle with You here. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. I suppose like Lady Catherine de Bourgh in Pride and Prejudice, I could say that if I had learnt music, I should have been a great proficient, which may be as true for me as it was for her. Anyway, I can't, I'm not, I don't, I can't even sing the tune, but let's see if we get stuck in the middle with two in the end anyway. Let's also have a reminder of what you can do around the channel. You can join our Patreon, you can check our apps, which are brilliant. You can check our catalogue of past videos, join the Discord server connected with the channel. You can get Sven's SUDOKU pad. There are lots of things, lots of ways you can engage with us, and we encourage you to try one or all of them, and also to like and subscribe as usual. But the first link under the video is going to be to this puzzle by Die Hard, who I think we have done on the channel before, and it's a really appealing and sparely populated grid with a few tiny Renban lines, but they are doing a bit of extra duty. So the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to put 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. That's normal enough. Digits in cages must sum to the cage total. We've only got those two tiny 2-cell cages. The digit on the circle is odd, 1 circle. Digits on a purple line form a consecutive set in any order. So you could have 4, 5, and 6 on this, or 7, 8, and 9, but in any order. Now, digits on purple lines can also be used to index the cell's column number in its row. For example, if row 3, column 1 was a 7, then 1 would have to be positioned in row 3, column 7. So hang on 1 second. There would have to be a 1 there. So it's an indexing puzzle as far as the cells with purple in go. And this is a kind of mutual relationship. So if there's a 1 there, that is saying that, well, no, actually it's not a mutual relationship, is it? Because this is the purple cell. This is saying that the 1, because this is column 1, in this row, sorry, the 1 in this row will go in column 7. That's how it works. Sorry, I'm being a bit slow today, which actually that is a precursor of how well I do at indexing puzzles. I just don't get them. Now, excuse me for a second while I just put off Simon, who's trying to send me a message. We'll get back to you. Oh, except I seem to have written Willie get. Right, there we go. Okay, that is dealt with. Now, so those are the rules. We've got indexing, and I'm terrible at indexing. And we've only got partial indexing. Tiny little purple Renbans, 2 ridiculously small cages, and 1 grey dot. Give it a try if you feel like it. You can check the video length. It's not always a reflection of how difficult the puzzle is. It's sometimes a reflection of how bad I am. But let's give it a try. Let's get cracking. Okay, so. What? I guess this is either 2, 4 or 1, 5. And this is either 5, 9 or 6, 8. They're the only combos that make up 6 and 14. And this is just useless tosh. Okay, we're going to have to consider the indexing because there's just nothing else to go on. So I think there is an entropy consideration, isn't there? If we had one of the 159 indexing puzzles where effectively all of these would be purple cells, and actually that's quite interesting, they would work perfectly validly as Renban lines if that was the case. Anyway, in those, you have this entropy thing. Now, we use entropy in Sudoku for some reason to mean having one of the digits 1, 2, 3, one of the digits 4, 5, 6, and one of the digits 7, 8, 9 in a set of 3, or what we sometimes know as a low, a middly, and a high digit. And okay, it doesn't apply to the whole of one of these renbans, but it does apply to these cells. And what I mean by that is they can't be from the same group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's quite interesting for a 3-cell renban. Okay, why, I keep saying that word, why it cannot be from the same set. Imagine that we put, say, 4 and 6 in those cells, which is theoretically possible for the renban. But that would require that the 1 in this row is in either column 4 or 6, and the 1 in this row is in either column 4 or 6. And that would be 2 1s in the same box. And for that reason, we cannot have these 2 digits come from the same entropic group. They can't be both low digits, by which I mean 1, 2, 3. They can't be both middly digits, 4, 5, 6, and they can't be both high, 7, 8, 9. And that must apply to this pair and this pair and this pair as well. I don't know about this pair. I'm not even thinking about that. It's a different shape. Not bothered. I don't think it does apply to that shape. It does actually apply here a bit. Now that's going to be interesting. Okay, we'll get to that, I think. Now, the why I said it's slightly interesting is if these two can't be from the same entropic set, then 1, 2, 3, like a set that is confined within one entropy group, cannot be the population of any of these vertical, I don't know what to call them, sort of, well, these shapes in boxes 1, 3, 7, and 9. They can't be a 1, 2, 3. They have to sort of allow the 1s that are being positioned by those, or the 9s that are being positioned by those, to cross a box border by using non-entropy digits. Now, that means that none of these can be a 1. That's interesting. That is interesting. None of them can be a 1, because if you had a 1 in that space, this would have to be a 1, 2, 3 renban, and that's not possible. So there is no 1 in this cell, and there's no 1 in those digits, and there's no 9. It does apply to 9 over this side of the grid, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It's just the same. You can't have a 9, 8, 7 set. That's fine. Okay. I don't know how to pencil mark that, but we can do the same on this side. There is a massive degree of symmetry about this puzzle. I think those two things are the only thing that's spoiling the mirror symmetry. Anyway, what I was going to say was, for exactly the same reasons, we can't have 9 in any of these cells, or they'd create a 987 renban, which would misplace 9 twice in a box. So that's not 9. Now, what next? Don't know. What are these cells? I mean, I've sort of ruled out 1 and 9 from them, and they can't be from the same entropy group. Right, so one of these two, if we're crossing a box boundary, we're going into the middle box. So one of these two has to be a 4, 5, or 6. And one of these two has to be a 4, 5, or 6. And one of these two has to be a 4, 5, 6, and one of these two. It's probably worth focusing on these with the cages down here. What happens if this is a 5? Well, it puts a 1 there, which is actually quite useful because we need to find a place for 1 in the first column. If that's a 5, That puts 1 here. Then that can't be a 5, because that would need to put 9 here. I don't know what this means. Oh, hang on. Can this be a 2? That's a very low number as well. And this would be a 4. Now, that's interesting. We've said this can't be a 1, 2, 3 group. So if it's got a 2 on it, it's going to have to be a 2, 3, 4 group. But we've got 4 there. If this is a 2, we've got 4 there. So we get 3 here. So then these are 2 and 3. And that won't work because that puts 1s in those positions. And they're both in the same box. So it's not a 2 below a 4. I bet the symmetry is working here. This can't be an 8 because that would be 6. This can't be 7, 8, 9, so it would have to be 6, 7, 8. You'd have an 8 there and a 7 there, and that would put 9s in those positions. Right. The symmetry does work very nicely. So these are middly. These are the middly digit. Right, that's putting a 1 by the indexing in one of those two cells. This is putting a 9 in one of those two. And now, what about these lines? Are they doing something better now? Right, yes. These are putting a 1 into the central box. This must not put a 1 into the central box. This cannot be 4, 5, or 6. What can it be? It could be 2, 3, or 7. I'm bearing in mind that we have to join these up as a set of 3, not necessarily in order, but at all. And that can't be 1, 8, or 9. It's not allowed to be 4, 5, or 6. So that is 2, 3, or 7. Putting a 1... Okay, it can't be 2, I've just worked out, as well, because that would require a 3 in this position, and that would index to a 2 here, but we're positing a 2 here, so that's not 2. So this is 3 or 7. In this row, there is a 1 in one of those cells. Now, if the symmetry works in the way that I think, and I don't think it's disturbed down here, this cell is going to be 8, 7, can't be 6, 5, 4, or it puts a 9 in one of those 3 cells, which clashes with the 9 there. So 8, 7, or 3. And I bet 8 is ruled out, because that would be a 7 and would put a 9 there, and that 8 would put a 9 there. Is that the same as what I was ruling out here? It's slightly different, I think. If that's an 8, this is a 9 by the indexing. This has to be a 7 by Renban, and that's a 9, and that doesn't work. Right, so that is a 3, 7 pair. We're definitely getting a 3 in the corner, but I don't know which one. I have a feeling I may not know which one for a while. But that's just amusing. Now that means this 3 or 7 means 9 is in one of these cells, so they're actually a 1, 9 pair, which has saved me the pencil marking across boxes that I was just beginning. So these are all odd now. What are these? If that's a 7, this is a 6, which would put a 2 here by the indexing. If that's a 3, though, oh, this could be 2, 4, or 5. And I suppose this, it's not quite as clean cut as I was hoping for. And that's either a 4, or if it's a 7 below, it is 5, 6, or 8. Now, if this is a 7 on this side, oh, that's beautiful. Okay, that won't work. Okay, I said I might not know for ages which of these is the 3 in the corner. I know immediately. If that was a 7, this has to be a 5 and that a 6. And look at what the 5 does. That forces a 1 there. But the 7 in the corner puts 3 over here, which then goes 4, 5, and that 5 requires a 9 in this same, what is it doing? In this same cell. And we can't put both, we can't, well, sorry, that's me being incredibly foolish. The simple thing to see is they can't both be 5s in the same row. By Sudoku, it doesn't matter what they do in that cell. But anyway, it means it's not 7 on the left. It is 3 on the left. That's 3 in the corner. That's my first digit. Losing its religion. It's a joker clowns to the left of me. That's what it is today. Anyway, 3 there means this is not a 6. 7 there means this is not a 4. Now, that means the 8 in this row is in one of those 3 cells, and the 2 in this row is in one of those 3. Oh, it also means this 3 is indexing the 1, so that becomes a 1 and that becomes a 9. There's a 1 there and a 1 there and a 2 somewhere in those cells. Oh, I do not like indexing puzzles. They fry my brain cells. Okay, there's a 1 there and a 1 somewhere there. So the 1 over this side is in one of these 2. 9, 9, there's a 9 in one of those 2. What about this thing? Yeah, I was going to look at this. This is interesting. Yes, these can't be from the same entropy. Oh, of course they can't. They can't be from the same set of 3 digits. They can't be from 1, 2, 3, because they would both put 5 in this box. They can't both be from 4, 5, 6, or they'd both put 5 in this box, no matter what they do. They can't be both from 7, 8, 9, or they'd put 5 in this box. So this is either a 3, 4 pair crossing one entropy border, or it's a 6, 7 pair crossing the other, and that is 3 or 7, and that is 4 or 6. I'm getting a lot of parity resolution, which surprises me. Now, what does this mean? This means that 5 in this row, oh, this means that 5 is in one of those cells. Look, I'm going to do parity because these two now see 1, 3, 5, 9 and 7. They have to be even, like that one. These are odd. I don't know. I mean, this may not help, but it's interesting that these parity things are emerging. Now, this is saying that 5 is either there or there in column 3 or 7 in this row. So we can remove 5 as candidates from those cells. Now we know that 2 is either there or there in this row. Not sure if I want to mark that across the box. I do. I'm going to do it. 8 is in one of those cells. I'll tell you what else we know. That can't be a 4 and that be a 6. And the reason for that is both of these would be 5s and would clash again in the row. So at least one of these two is a self-referential digit. Either this one puts 2 here or this one puts 8 here. And that is either 4 or that is 6, or both of those things. Probably both, but I don't know that. Now, I've done all this work at the bottom. Well, I mean, it's not that much, I know, but it feels like quite a lot of thinking. I haven't really looked at these top things at all. But then I haven't really got much advance in terms of looking at them. No, I'm still looking down here. I don't know. I want to know more about what's going on. Here we have 5 and an even digit. Here's something interesting. This 8 pencil marking is quite interesting. It rules 8 out of those cells. Oh, bother. I was going to put 8 into one of those, but it could be here. No, okay, that's not that helpful. Right, what about these? They don't include a 3 now. So they could still cross this border, but only if one of them is a 2 and one of them is a 4, and that's not possible. Oh no, it is possible with the 6 cage. Oh, bother. I thought that was it. So the only way that they're putting 1s across this box border is if this is 2 and 4. And that would be a 3 and would put a 2 here, and that's not possible. So this is not crossing this box border, it's crossing this one. And that's a bit less helpful, but it means the run of digits here, well no, these two come from these cells. They are 5, 6, 7 or 8, and that's where they're putting 1 in either column 5, 6, 7 or 8 there, and either column 5, 6, 7 or 8 there. Oh, that means that 1 in row 2 is either here or here. Well, it's not going to be here because that's Renban could never work. So it's there. We get the 1 in row 2. I bet this works. Oh, well, that's going to fix the cage. 2 and 4. 2 there. That is self-referential. Bother. Okay, let's see if this does work over the other side. So I'm now considering what these are. Oh, maybe... No, it should do. It should work. These... What I'm going to say is that for these to be marking a 9 across this border, they would have to be, they can't put a 9 in this column because we've already got a 9 there. So one of them would put a 9 in column 8 and the other one would put a 9 in column 6 because these have to be connected. And if you put 9s in column 8 and 6, that's an 8-6 pair. This won't work, by the way. And that puts a 7 here on the Renban, and that requires an 8 in this cell, which is nonsense for every kind of reason, because we're positing a 6-8 pair there, and because this is an odd circle. So, this cannot be crossing this box border. I hope you understand how I'm using this terminology. The indexing this is giving us is putting 9s across this box border here into either 2, 3, 4 or 5, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And that's putting 1 9 there and 1 9 there. Now, the 9 in row 2 cannot go here by Sudoku. It can't go here because of Renban, and it must go here, and that fixes this 14 cage to be an 8-6 cage. That puts 8 here, and both of this 2 and 8 were self-referential, which was kind of what I thought would happen. It's annoying because it doesn't give as much information as if they're not, but it's still true and it's interesting. Now maybe we'll start breaking symmetry and looking at this. Yeah, well, all right, this is 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, which is putting a 1 in one of these positions. Now that's really interesting because, sorry, I mean that is a huge pencil mark I wouldn't normally do, but where does 1 go in this box? Look at the Sudoku. We've got a 1 in column 1. We've got a 1 in column 3. We're not allowed to put it in row 4 because of that pencil marking I just did. And if we put a 1 here, that would be saying there had to be a 2 there, which we know is nonsense. So this is a 1. And in fact, what is this number? It can't be a 1, 2 or 3 because we've had the 2 in this box. Well, okay, it's bigger than that. I mean, I could have said exactly the same reason for the Renban. But anyway, I'm going to remove that. Am I? No, I'll leave that for now, but I don't think it's going to be helpful. Now, I don't have a symmetrical Renban over here, so I can't do the same with 9s. Oh, but look at 8. 8, 8. 8's in one of those cells. Ooh, okay, here's a weird thing. Either one of these is a 7 or an 8, because they have to put a 1 into this box. They can't both be putting them into this box. If we're looking at a 7 there, then we get a 1-8 pair in these cells. If we're looking at an 8, we've got an 8 X-wing. It doesn't seem actually very helpful, weirdly. Okay, this digit can't be a 3 because the Renban wouldn't work. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. That's putting a 2 somewhere along here. Not in the odd circle. And there's no 2 here, so the 2 in this box is in one of those spaces. That's analogous to the 8 over here, I suppose. If I'd done the symmetry, I would have spotted that. Now, we've got quite a few cells on the Renban lines, but I'd like to get... I haven't thought about this. Anytime I do think about this, I don't know what to think about it. So it might be time to start figuring that one out, but it's scaring me a bit, if I'm honest. So 9s are somewhere here. Oops, somewhere here and somewhere here. And an 8 is somewhere here. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. This is putting it... Oh, this can't put a 2 in number 7, so that's not a 7. Now, if this was an 8, it would put a 2 here. That seems all right. If it's 4, 5 or 6, then it puts 2 here. This can't be a 2. Oh, it could be. It's positioning 8 in the row, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. Bit stuck again. Got to think of something else now. This thing. Okay, let's look at this caret mark up here. What is going on with this? So, this is positioning 5 in this row. These are positioning 4 and 6. It doesn't feel like there's an entropy problem with that. I mean, they could actually be literally 4, 5, 6 and all be self-referential. So I don't know what that means. Which means it just means I don't really understand what's going on. I've just noticed this isn't a 5, is it? Because we've got a 5 in one of those 2 cells. Where's the third 5? Just somewhere here. No, there's a 5 in one of those 2 cells, so this can't be a 5. And this can't be a 5. Right, let's try and narrow this down. This is either a 4, 5, 6 or a 6, 7, 8 Renban. If it's 4, 5, 6, that's a 4 and that's a 5, 6 pair. And that would put a 2 here and 1s in those positions. No, hang on, it's not a 4, 5, 6 Renban. That's absolute nonsense. Because that must put 1s in those positions. Right, there's no 4 in it. It just couldn't have been that. I'm sorry that I left that in. It is either 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8. So slow. Right, 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8. So an 8 is the oddity. If that's an 8, that's putting a 2 here. I don't know, I'm looking down the grid. That's interesting. I've just noticed that this is not 2 or 4, this even digit that I've marked here. This is not 6 or 8. Oh, that's amazing. This is amazing. If that's an 8, then that is placing a 2 here. Look what happens to the digits at the bottom of the grid. That becomes a 6 and that becomes a 4. Pray tell, what does this become? Nothing at all. That is impossible. That is bizarre but weird, but it's true. That can't be an 8. So it's 5 or 6. Now, this could still be a 6, 7, 8 triple, but what happens then? This is a 6. That's a 2. You've got 7 and 8 up there, putting 1s up in these spots. That 6 has made that a 2. It's made this an 8. There's a 2 on this Renban. So it's either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. That's going to put 5 somewhere in those cells. Oh, I've just realised this can't be a 1, can it? Or a 9. Can't be a 1 or a 9 because these would be a 2, 3 pair or an 8, 7 pair, and that would... Oh no, that's all right. That could put 6 there and 4 there. Or... Oh, well, it wouldn't work as a 9, 8, 7 pair. You can't have 9 here because that would be 7 and 8, and that would require these two to be 6 and 4, but that one's odd. So that's not a 9, so that's not a 5. I mean, this is paltry elimination of one pencil mark at a time. But we do know from that, we've got a 2, 3 or 4 there. There is a 9 in one of those 3 cells now. And this can't have a 9 on it, because if it can't have a 9 there, it definitely can't have a 9 here, given that 9. So it's not 9, 8, 7. Okay, what if it had... What if it was 8, 7, 6? I don't know. It's not so obvious if that does anything for me. Okay, I don't know what's happening now. Right. But this was getting narrowed down. Now, can I rule out 8, 7, 6? Yes, I can. Simply. If this was 8, 7, 6, that would be the 6. These would be 7 and 8, and they would have a clashing 1 in those places. Right. It is 5, 6, 7 as a triple, as a Renban. I mean, that's putting 1 in 2 of those positions. Oh, but that 5 or 6 is definitely putting a 2 in one of these spots. Now, a 2 here, you'd have to have a 3 on this Renban. Well, no, I was briefly going to think about column 1. No, it's not really. One of those two is a 7. Okay, so I can remove 7 out of those cells as possibilities. Oh, and that means I can take 1 out of that cell, because this can't be an indexing 7. That's quite strange. Seven is in one of those. 5, 6, 7. I mean, yeah, this doesn't work quite so well. I think it's because of this being a circle, or does it? Let me think about this now. Why is this not symmetrical? Why can I not reduce this to 2 possibilities? This is placing 8 in this row. Not in column 2, in 3, 4, 5 or 6. Now, is there a 2? I don't think there is going to be a 2 in these, but if there was, they would be 2, 3, 4, which would put 9s in those positions. This would have to be a 3 in the middle, putting 8 there. That seems to work, annoyingly. Am I missing something about why that doesn't work? I might be. If this was a 6, these would be 6, 5, 4, and that's impossible. That can't be a 6. So now 8 is in one of these positions in 3, 4, or 5. Yes, I think 2 didn't work there because of the circle, which was quite helpful because we knew what entropy this digit was, but we don't know in this case. Sorry, this is very slow and painstaking, but it really is not easy for me to see how this puzzle works at all. Just going to pencil mark a 9 in there because I've just seen it. This is placing 2 in this row somewhere there. This is placing 1. Have I not done... No, I don't think I've done any. 2, 8, 9. This is 3 or 4. I mean, I don't think that's going to help anything, but since I've pencil marked... No, I haven't. I'm pencil marking across boxes for 9 and indeed for 8. So I have not reduced 2, 8 and 9 in this box to those positions. Even the 2, no, that is within its box. Yeah, this is the trouble with corner marking across boxes. It can get very confusing. However, down here, 5 and 7 have to be in those cells. Maybe I need to think about 6, making that... Well, 8 is much less powerful here. If it was making this a 6, maybe I should think about this being a 6. Then that's a 4, that's a 3. Then we've got 5s here and here. I've only just noticed that we've either got a 5 pair there or there based on this renban. Oh, and here we have to be crossing a box. Oh no, we don't. One of them's doing a 1 and one's doing a 2. It's because this is vertical. They're both doing 5s. Oh, so weird, this puzzle. 5, 6, 7, 1. There's a 2 in one of those. 9 is in one of those 3. Because we haven't eliminated this down to being 2. It is either 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5. 3 and 4 are definitely on it. Can that be a 5? That would put 9 here, which would force 9 to be there specifically. So that could be a 3 and they could be joined up by an 8 here. 9, 8, 9 would be the realization of that renban if we had a 5 at the bottom. And it's difficult though, isn't it? Since... maybe 8 can't be here in column 3. Oh, it could be if 9 and 9 were there and there or there and there, and this was a 2, 3, 4 renban. 8 can't be here. Yes, it can. Yeah, it still can be there. Oh, I don't know. It's getting very difficult now. Well, because I haven't got a clue what to do. That's why. I mean, this is 3, 5, or 7, but 3 is definitely on this renban, so that is 5 or 7. I'm sure that's not going to help me. It's not indexed by anything, and it's not threatening to index anything. Let's think about this one again then. We worked out it couldn't have a 9 on it. Could it be 8, 7, 6? The 8 would surely have to be here. I'm not sure about that. Now, if there's a 7 on this, that's putting either a 1. No, that's either putting a 5 there. If this was a 7, that puts a 5 here. If one of these is a 7, that's trying to put either a 4 or 6 here. Okay, neither of these can be a 7. Can I rule 7 out of this cell? By Sudoku, that makes this 5 or 6. But it couldn't be 5 by indexing, so that would be a 6, which would put a 1. So if this was a 7, you'd have a 1 here. That's odd. If this was a 7, you'd have, no, I don't know if you'd have to have an 8. You'd have a 6 here. That would be a 5. This would be a 7. So those would be the 7s in the top 3 rows if this top cell of this box 2 Renban was a 7. That would also make this 3, 4. That would put 5s here. It looks like it could work. It's just weird. It does a lot of work, in fact. Maybe I'd love that to be a 7. It can't be a 1 because those would be in the same entropy. Oh, they can be. I keep doing this. They can be putting 6 and 4 in those positions. Although if it was a 1, that would have to be an 8. It's quite weird. You'd get a lot of this done. If that was a 1, this row would have to go 1, 6, 4, 3, 8, 2, 7, 5, 9. Isn't that weird? You could fill it all in just by speculating that that was a 1. But it could be, and that's very frustrating. I did think there might be something that stopped it being a 7. Let me just ponder that one again. Why shouldn't it be a 7? If that was a 7, one of these would be even. It's not really interesting. They'd be putting 6 and 4 in various places. Yeah, I just don't think I can rule anything out. 2. Getting badly stuck now. 9, 8, 6, 7. Wow, how do these work? 5 and 7. Now, let's think about this row. It's got to be here, hasn't it? If that's a 5, that puts 2 here and 7 there. 6 and 7 up there are putting 1s in those positions. So that would be a 1-8 pair with a 7 there. 6 would have to be here somewhere. Oh, in fact, 5, 6 and 7, the one from these cells that is going into box 3 is in one of these. That is a 1-8 pair. That's taken me a long time. That places 1 in this box. That's weird. Okay, I get that 1. That's not a 1. These are from 2, 3, 4, 5 in this column. 6 has to be in one of those cells and one of these 3, and that's not interesting. So this 1-8 pair, there's a 1 there and then a 1 in one of these cells in 5 or 6. And that is, ooh, that is going to be diagonally opposed to the 2. So they could be there, 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 very plausibly, or there. Is that diagonal opposition thing useful? If this was 2, 3, 4, that would have to be 2 and 4, and that would have to be 3. So if this is 2, 3, 4, that has to be a 3. If this is 3, 4, 5, one of those has to be the 3, going into box 1 with the 9. And then, so this is either definitely the 3 if this is 2, 3, 4, or definitely not the 3 if this is a 3, 4, 5 Renban. That is a very frustrating juxtaposition. If I could rule 1 out of there, I'd know it would be here. I keep thinking this Renban forces a box boundary crossing, but it absolutely doesn't. It could put the 1 and the 2 in the same box. Ah, 2 is not here. Oh, can 2 be in these cells? That's a bit more interesting. Then this is a 2, 6 pair, and that's a 4. And that fixes all these blue cells in the bottom row. We get a 6, 8, 7 here, 5's here. Now, I'm positing that there's a 2 here because I'd like to rule it out actually. That makes that 4, that's 6, that's 8. 2 is here in this bottom row. So if there's a 2 in one of those cells, there's a 2 here. That doesn't really... I thought that might lead to something, and it absolutely didn't. You would end up with an 8 here. That's quite interesting. That would make this a 198 triple. Oh my God, this 4 and 6 are indexing 1 and 9 here. Why can't I see the basics? Oh, you muppet. I only hope that's going to do something that I just haven't been noticing. I don't think it is. I mean, it doesn't rule out a 4 from those because they couldn't have 1. It doesn't rule out 6 from those because they couldn't have 1. Oh, there is something, is there? If that's a 5, this is a 2. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. If this is a 5, this is a 2. Then the 2 in this box now can't be in any of those cells. It has to be in one of those 2. Then we get 4, 6, and 8. But if that's a 6, this is an 8 anyway, so this is an 8 anyway. And that, together with that 8, is giving us an 8 here. And that is taking 8 out of this cell and saying that this can't be, oh no, saying that this can't be a 5. Oh, that's not quite what I wanted. That is not quite what I wanted. And indeed, 3 works with a 2, 4 pair. Was it? Yeah, that was how it worked. 3 is if it's a 2, 4 pair. 4 if it's a 3, 5 pair. Oh, that nearly did it. Right, 2 and 3 in this row are there. 5 and 7 are over here. Ah, 5 is therefore not here. It is here in row 8. That gives me the indexing of this. That's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 5, that's not. This is a 2 or a 4. I have not been doing much colouring of these cells, and maybe it hasn't been relevant. I don't know. I just do what my brain tells me to. It doesn't often share its reasons, is all I'm saying. That's now a 6-9 pair. And this is a from 2, 3, 4, and one of them is a 3. That's an odd pair for what it's worth, which is almost certainly nothing. This can't be an 8, which means this can't be a 9, which I knew anyway because I'd removed 1 from that cell, so that is the most useless thing. 6, 7, 8. Now, what's that doing? This can't be 6, 7, or 8. I think we worked out it can't be 9. 9's in one of those cells. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's not 2 because 2's in one of those cells. I don't think it could be 1. Or maybe I never did rule that out. If this was 1, you've got a 5 here, and a 6 there, and that puts 2 here and 3 here. And maybe that does, no, that doesn't work. Because if you put a 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, you get a 4 here, which requires that to be an 8 rather than a 3. So that is not a 1. This is now 3, 4, or 5. Putting a 5 in one of these 3 cells for definite, and therefore not in this cell. This is now putting a 1 in either column 6 or 7, which is unsurprising. 8, 7, 6, 3, 1, 9. This is 2, 3, 4, or 5. Has this changed? This is putting a 1 in one of those cells. I don't think any of that has changed, although maybe I can mass the 1s. There's a 1 somewhere there, and a 1 somewhere there, and a 1 somewhere here. I don't think that's helpful. I mean, it's very unsurprising, and indeed it's just part of the puzzle that there's a 1 also in one of those cells. It does, actually, I've only just noticed there is a 1 in one of these 2 in box 6, but since it's not, well, since it's possibly not indexed, that's not interesting. 5 is looking at that cell. The circle has become a 7, which does nothing else for some reason. This is putting an 8 in 3 or 4. This is putting a 2 in 5 or 6. Why is that 7 not helping? Is this a 197 triple now? Yes, it is. That might help. We've got 8 there. 5 has to be in one of these 2, and therefore is not here. This is now a 2, 3, 4 triple, and I think I knew what that was if this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. 9 can't be there. Oh, there is a 2 in one of these cells, so there is a 9 in one of these 2. And there must be a 9 in one of these 2 accordingly, and that's a sort of X-wing, and that must be a 3 putting an 8 in that cell. And I mean, there could never have been an 8 here once I got 3, 4 or 5 there. Why can I only see that now? Because I'm a bit dim. 1, 8, 7, 3, 9. These are from 2, 4, 5 and 6. The one on the right can't be a 5 by Sudoku. So what have we got going? Could we have a 2, 3, 4? We can't have a 2 here because it would put 4 there. In fact, this is deciding where 2 goes. Well, it doesn't go. No, it's deciding where 4 goes. So it's 4, 5 or 6. This is deciding where 6 goes. So it's 2, 4 or 6. My goodness, they're right. But I don't know what they actually are going to be. Come on, puzzle. You're doing something. This is a 5, 6, 7 triple. Why wasn't that as helpful as the other one? 2 in one of those, 1 in one of those, and 1 in one of those. And I don't think that's resolved. But we've got this X-wing on 9s, which at least is keeping 9 out of those cells and putting it in one of these. And it's keeping 9 out of those cells, so it's not there. These are from 4, 5, 6, 7. We've still got a 3 to place in this column. And a 9, which is in one of those 2. 8, 2, 1, 9. Oh, I don't know what these are doing. 1 in 5, 6 or 8. 2 in 4, 5, 6 or 7. So one of those is a 2, and that's not a 2. In fact, we've got a 2, 4 pair up here. So this is a 3, 5 pair. This is a 2, 4, 6 triple. And that's a 3. Yeah, I don't think I'm covering myself in glory in this puzzle, but I'm finding it very difficult. So I'm going to leave the 2 corner mark because one of those is a 2. It might be all about this now, although I think it's about these 2. I mean, obviously it's about all the ones I haven't actually resolved. Oh, that's become a 4. I hadn't noticed that. 2 there. I'm sure that's done nothing up the top. No, it really hasn't. Oh, this can't be a 2. So that can't be a 4. Now, I was about to announce the even digit on here was a 6. But I don't know that. However, look, I've got... Oh no, that's not 6 cells from 5, 6, 7. Because that one could be an 8. Bother. One of these two must be an 8 by Sudoku. Nine is there or there. That's just so uninteresting. 7, 9, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, 1, 8. We've got 2, 9, 3, and 4 to place. So because of this 2, 4 pair, 4 is going to be on the opposite side to 2 in these pairs. And that means 9 will be on the opposite side to 3. I don't think that's interesting. No, I think it's got to be about this now. I've got to try and figure this one out. This is putting 5 in one of these 3 cells. It can't be there because there's a 5, 6, 7 triple. Right. So that's not a 3. Now this can't be a 2. Now there is not a 3 on this blinking Renban. Yes! If I could pencil mark that correctly, it would look like this. We've got a 4, 5, 6 Renban, which I speculated at the start. This also can't be a 3, so that's a 2. And this is saying where 2 goes, so it's a 5. Now we've got a 6, 7 pair, putting 1s definitely in those positions and creating a definite X-wing, which keeps 1 out of that cell and makes the 1 in row 5's in one of those 2. So this can't be a 6. This is now 5 or 8, making this 6 or 7. And that puts 2 in one of those 2 cells, and I can't see why one of them is wrong. But I'm getting closer now. 6 is... Oh, we've had a 5 in this row, so that's not 5. That's a 5. That's going to do some Sudoku. It's going to do some indexing, isn't it? Oh no, it's self-referential. It doesn't do anything else in the indexing. This is 3. This is a 3. Look at this weird naked single. I've put 9 in those cells. I think that's right. 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 4 in the box, and 1 in one of those cells from the X-wing. So that's a 3. This is now a 1, 4, 9 triple, where that can't be a 1. 5, 2, 3, 4, 6. I think these could be either way round and do the job that they're doing. This is 6 or 7, putting 1s up here somewhere. This is 2 or 4, which is putting 9s in those positions. Why is none of this unwinding? It's going to come down to this now. 1 is there or there. Next to, on the diagonal, are 2. So it's either 1, 2 there or 1, 2 there. How do I use that shape? I don't know. Where does 5 go in this row? In one of those 2 cells. That's not helpful. It would be if I knew it was there, because then that couldn't be a 5. Okay, down the first column, 6, 7 pair does 9 and 6. This is now a 5, 8 pair. Wow, how is that not? Okay, that is a little helpful. I've seen something, because there's a 5 X-wing. So 5 in row 6 has to be there. Is that a little helpful? No. 5, 8, 2, 1. 3, 6, 4, 7, 9 in these cells. Two is in one of those in that box and one of those. So that's interesting. So 2 is forming an X-wing in that little 2 by 2. And somewhere here there's a 1, 2 pattern. So that means that there's either a 1, 2 there or a 1, 2 there. Again, I can't quite see how to use it, but it's interesting info. I'm almost done with these Renbands, and I've got so little else to go on. Let's do some colouring. Balm for the soul. There we go. Oh, look, they're blue as well. In fact, they're all orange. They're all blue. I don't think this was doing anything for me at any stage. It was a bit helpful in the bottom row, I think. I'll say that. Now, 1495. So 2 is in those. That is 3, 6, or 7. I just don't think this kind of pencil marking is going to do anything in this puzzle. Oh, look, I've got a 5 looking down at that cell. It's Sudoku. That's become a 6. Right, that puts a 2 here. 1 is here. Come on now, that's a 1. That's not a 2. That is. Now, come on, 1s and 2s. Do your job, whatever you think your job is. I think your job is to try and resolve everything else for me, but you don't seem to be doing it. How that hasn't touched these 1s or these 9s, has it? Hasn't done a thing with them. 14952. This is 3 or 7 by just 6 is looking across there. Ah. So it wasn't the 1s and 2s, it was these actual digits. 5 is looking across there. This is 3 or 7 in this row. That's all I got left in that row. That's not a 6. I've got 3, 7, 9 left in row 6. That is a 3, 7 pair. So this is a 6, 8 pair. I don't think I know the order. Still got a lot of untangling to do in that row. These are from 4, 7, 9. Oh no, hang on. That sees a 9 in those. And it sees a 7 there. That is a 4. Nice. So this is a 3, 7, 9 triple. Let's keep going with the colouring because it was a good omen last time. I am not scared to overcolour today. Look at all that orange. There we go. Okay. 3, 7, 9. This is a 2, 4 pair. I know their colour, although I don't know their disposition. This must be 6, 7, 3 and 9. Ah, I can place them. That's even better. 9 and 3. They are orange, as is that, which is a 9. 9, 5, 2. And in fact, those are indexed. Yes, the 9s are indexed by 4 and 2 there. That sorts out 4 and 2 here, which would otherwise have been a deadly pattern. I've got a 6 there, which has sorted out 7 and 6. Those are indexing the 1s. That becomes an 8. This is now an 8 as well. This is a 7, and the 8s do the 6, 8 pair. The 7s are going to key into all the 3s and 7s. Right, let's finish off the colouring first. Blue for, I hope I haven't mixed it with high-low colouring by mistake. Sort of thing I can easily do. Just on the strength of the numbers of colours, that must be right. Okay, so we've got 6 and 4 up here. Gonna finish now. 3 and 4 there. 7 and 3 in the central box. And that does the triple there. And the last pair, 9 and a 7. What a puzzle. Solution is correct. 60 minutes and 1 second. That's not a bad time. 1 hour and 1 second. Wow. That was very hard for me. Very entertaining puzzle. Great fun to do. Well done, Die Hard. You did die hard. The puzzle certainly did. So let's just remove the colouring now. There we go. What an extraordinary puzzle. I mean, I think it says a lot about how bad I am at understanding indexing and how that then makes me miss Sudoku later on. But tough one. Thanks for watching. See you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.